Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the gym. It is your guy, Boulanger. Up next, has Derrick Henry become a weak link for the Baltimore Ravens? Let's talk. I know that question sounds kind of obnoxious, probably mostly absurd, but it's a conversation I think we need to have. After week number one, where Derrick Henry ran wild for the most part, he had a costly fumble that put the Buffalo Bills in position to take control of this game. And no matter how the fumble happened, right? Whether it was the guy came through the right side of the offensive line like they had most of the game, hit him from the blind side, knocked the ball out, it doesn't really matter to me. Because in truth, as a running back in my youth, one of the first things you learn is two hands on the football, especially when you're in traffic or you're getting ready to take on contact. And when Derrick Henry fumbled in that Buffalo game, both were true. He was in traffic and there was high potential to take on contact. Ball comes out, Buffalo recovers, game over. And every running back has a fumble, quarterbacks fumble, wide receivers also fumble. But it has been rare throughout the career of Derrick Henry to be a fumbler. And then we come into game number two against the Cleveland Browns, a tough defense, I might add. But Derrick Henry also fumbled in that game. Although it was recovered, it was a fumble. Two games back to back 2025 fumbles. Now, does that make him a weak link? No, he's still a big time runner. He still has breakaway speed. He's still a workout warrior. He is still going to go over the 12,000 yard mark this season. He's still going to score lots of touchdowns, right? But this past game and the fumble caused me to begin to think. But I kind of put this conversation on the shelf until this morning around 4:30. I was just, looking at some Baltimore Ravens news, and I saw that somebody else had wrote an article about Derrick Henry being a weak link and his fumbling. And I was like, wow, okay, so somebody else is thinking along the same lines as me. That doesn't make me smart or intelligent. It just makes me have an understanding that, hey, I'm not alone in this. So I began to think, okay, coming to the Baltimore Ravens, how many fumbles had Derrick Henry had? So coming to the Ravens, I think he came into the Ravens organization with 19 fumbles lost. That's pretty good for a guy who has carried the ball as much as Derrick Henry has, and a guy who has ran the ball for over 11,000 yards. That's pretty good. That's like 1.9 fumbles per season. Not too bad. But in a calendar year with the Baltimore Ravens organization, Derrick Henry has had four fumbles, two of which is lost. We all remember the Pittsburgh game where I believe it was Derrick Henry's first carry, he fumbles. Let's take a look. Yeah, that play. That's the one I'm talking about. In a big time matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Derrick Henry puts the ball on the ground. And just in case we don't remember the heartbreaking, game breaking fumble from the Buffalo game, here it is. Now, when you look at both of those clips, right, what you see is two fumbles lost of four fumbles. So within a calendar year, we're only talking about 21 games, 19 games last season, and then get week one, week two of this season. Four fumbles, 21 games. That means there is a fumble once every 5 games. That means with 15 games left, there is three more fumbles coming if Derrick Henry keeps up his average. Don't know how many will be lost. But my question is this a trend? Because if this is a trend, Derrick Henry indeed may be a weak link. But I think there's something else brewing that we have to discuss, which will be in our second video. And that's the type of blocking Derrick Henry is getting. Now, in that Pittsburgh fumble, he was beyond the line of scrimmage. In the Buffalo fumble, he was behind the line of scrimmage. And in the Cleveland fumble, he was beyond the line of scrimmage. So fumbling is happening whether behind the line or beyond the line of scrimmage. And I wonder, are teams game planning for this now? I wonder, are they seeing something in his ball handling? If they're seeing something in his ball security, I'm just wondering. I don't know. I don't spend time digging into the film. I don't spend time digging into every carry that he has. Don't have that kind of time. But what I do know is that Derrick Henry has had 2 fumbles this season. And on average, there'll be 3 more coming. And so I wonder, has John Harbaugh taken note of this? Has Todd Monken begun to pay attention to this? Will there be a change in the blocking scheme so he can get even with the line of scrimmage before he takes on contact? Will there be a change in rotation? Will Derrick Henry get less carries and Justice Hill get more carries? Will they begin to throw the ball out of the backfield more and have him looking from the sideline? These are all legitimate questions. I don't have the answer. But what I do know is this fumbling has to stop. You see, it was my opinion that Derrick Henry could creep into the conversation for top 5 running backs of all time. He won't have the numbers like an Emmitt Smith, a Walter Payton, a Barry Sanders. But I think that for his size, his speed, his volume of touchdowns, and never really having elite talent around him, he has done an admirable job. But if he comes to the Ravens, and this problem with fumbling, and I am calling it a problem with fumbling, if it continues, the king will begin to get some tarnish on his crown. So you guys let me know what you're recognizing about Derrick Henry. Is his carrying habits changed? Is he carrying the ball too high, too low? Or does he just need to get 2 hands on the ball when in traffic? You guys let me know what you think. I'm your guy, Boulan J, and until next time, I'm out.